In the depths of winter, a woman stood at the supermarket entrance, shivering without pants. Seizing the opportunity to help, a man approached her and offered a ride. They returned to Xiaomei's cheap apartment, only to hear her roommate shouting inside. Wei suggested they go out for drinks, promising to bring her back later. Cautious, Xiaomei declined but hesitated at the door as the yelling continued. Noticing her uncertainty, Wei pressed his invitation again. Seeing he seemed harmless, she climbed into his luxury car. They sped up to a wealthy neighborhood in the mountains, where Wei revealed himself to be a low-key billionaire living alone in a sprawling mansion filled with millions in fine wine. After a drink, Xiaomei shed her wet coat, showcasing her figure. Complaining about the heat, she grabbed Wei's ice cream and they chatted by the fire until dawn. Wei couldn't stop thinking about her and found her at the bar the next day, where they acted like a couple. However, when they reached the parking lot, they caught a thief trying to break into Wei's car. Wei warned the intruder to leave or he'd call the police. Suddenly, Xiaomei erupted in anger, hurling a bottle. The thief, furious, charged at Wei, who instinctively shielded Xiaomei. The thief struck Wei's knee hard, and he collapsed. Back from the hospital, Wei's leg was in a heavy cast, and he would be in a wheelchair for months. Xiaomei kept apologizing, but Wei reassured her it was okay and suggested she visit him if she felt guilty. She offered to take care of him during his recovery, and Wei happily accepted. Every day, an old man secretly watches the wealthy neighborhood, but today he's shocked by what he sees through his binoculars, a familiar face. Isn't that the tenant who skipped out on her rent? He rushes to the rich area to demand his money back, not knowing it will become the biggest regret of his life. Just days earlier, Xiaomei had been living in the old man's rundown apartment but had since hooked up with a billionaire and moved into a lavish villa. What man could resist such temptation? Even the world-wise billionaire, Wei, found himself helplessly drawn in. One day, Wei wakes up to find his phone missing and starts searching everywhere. He accidentally comes across intimate photos of Xiaomei with her roommate, just as the news reports her roommate's death. Something feels off. At that moment, Xiaomei returns home with a bucket of fried chicken. Wei cautiously inquires about her roommate, and to his shock, Xiaomei claims, "I killed her." After all, the roommate had discovered her secret. Xiaomei had rented the rundown apartment to spy on Wei's life for 2 months, meticulously recording the details of the billionaire's daily routine. With no family and no friends, Wei was the perfect target. When Wei tries to grab his phone back, Xiaomei takes him down with a stun gun. "IC, IP, IQ, tell me the password," she demands. If he doesn't cooperate, she'll use a drill on him and forces Wei to hold an online shareholder meeting to transfer all his assets to her overseas account. Wei seizes the moment and grabs her by the neck, but Xiaomei finds scissors nearby. She pulls out her phone and plays a video, threatening, "If you don't cooperate, I'll go after your ex-wife and kid." Wei has no choice but to comply. Soon, Xiaomei's accomplices arrived and took away all his valuable possessions. It was the same thief from the parking lot. This scheming femme fatale sent chills down his spine. Little did Xiaomei know, after she and her accomplices left, a stroke of luck came Wei's way. It was the old man, returning to demand rent from Xiaomei. If a stunning beauty approaches you, just ignore her. One man learned this the hard way after he tried to help her out. He ended up losing all his assets and became a prisoner in his own mansion. Fortunately, an old man broke in through a window, but instead of rescuing him right away, he wanted to negotiate a price first. Little did they know that the mansion was wired with surveillance. The beauty received an alert and quickly turned her car around. Meanwhile, the old man was still busy trying to assess how much the graffiti on the wall was worth. The man, Wei, chimed in, claiming it was an original Picasso that could sell for 6 or 7 million. "Just save my life, and it's yours," he pleaded. But by then, the beauty had already returned. The old man panicked and tried to escape, but the woman remotely locked all the doors and windows with her phone. The old man had no choice but to flee to the garage, clutching the valuable painting. The beauty, wielding a samurai sword, followed him in. It was clear she was skilled, and in no time, she ended the old man's life. Seizing the opportunity, Wei broke through the shattered window and jumped onto a snowmobile, speeding down the mountain. But in his panic, he hit a rock, sending him crashing down in the middle of the road. A passing driver helped him into the passenger seat and quickly called the police. To his surprise, the man in sunglasses returned to the mansion. He was in cahoots with the beauty. The only reason they spared Wei's life was that he had a stash of bonds hidden in the bank safe, which could only be accessed with biometric verification. Wei remarked how foolish the beauty was. If they got married, those bonds would belong to her anyway. Why continue living on the run? Their conversation was overheard by Deshawn, who was enraged. He grabbed Wei's hand and slammed it onto the table, slicing off his thumb in one swift motion. The next morning, an unexpected visitor showed up, Wei's ex-wife Anna, who brought their daughter to see him. The three of them could only reunite in the storage room. Meanwhile, Deshawn and the beauty went to the bank, pretending to be Wei and his wife to withdraw the $10 million worth of bonds. Deshawn had fixed Wei's severed finger and plaster ahead of time, but when the manager brought in the equipment for identity verification, it turned out that just having a fingerprint wasn't enough. The cold, lifeless finger failed the test. As they were about to get caught, Deshawn had a quick idea. He stuffed Wei's finger inside himself. After some awkward maneuvering, they finally passed the verification. However, when they opened the safe, they found only a note. It turned out Anna had secretly taken the bonds during the divorce. Deshawn was furious and returned to confront Wei. He ordered the beauty to kill him with a single shot, but this time she hesitated, recalling Wei's words. In a moment of clarity, she turned and shot Deshawn in the heart. But Wei was no longer in a forgiving mood. Seizing the chance, he attacked her while she was distracted. Realizing what was happening, the beauty snapped back to reality and chased after him. Using his phone, Wei manipulated the lights and sound in the room, leaving her disoriented. Ultimately, with Anna's help, he shot the beauty dead.